Well, good Tuesday evening. We are still keeping an eye on Hurricane Matthew, which, again, not going to be too many direct effects here in central Pennsylvania, but I know a lot of you weather lovers and some of you who have relatives along the southeast coastline are very interested. Let's jump into it. This is the latest track from the National Hurricane Center. At 8 o'clock this evening, it had sustained winds of 140 miles per hour. It's going to be a major hurricane moving through the Bahamas. This is a horrible track for a place like Nassau. You know, our Go With Joe cruises, we've been there several times. This is going to be one of the more devastating hurricanes ever for the Bahamas. Now, the cone does cover parts of Florida, meaning anywhere in that cone is where they could see the potential in the Hurricane Center. So we may have a major hurricane right along the coastline of Florida, and that's something we are going to be keeping a strong eye on for them. But there's some disparity. You may have heard people saying different things about it. Let's go ahead and jump into the GFS. This is wind speed and also the wind speed and the 10-meter wind speed and the sea level pressure. And you can see that hurricane moving across the Bahamas, tracking right over Nassau, and then moving toward the Florida coastline, skimming the coastline. Place like Cape Canaveral, what sticks out a little bit, that may get a fair amount. But keep in mind, the strongest wind of a hurricane will be on the east side of the storm. The GFS then hugs the coastline, brings it dangerously close to Savannah, and then turns it out and just follows the coastline. Unbelievable. And then moves off, sorry, there's a couple of missing members, moves off to the north and east, and that would pull cool air down to us. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the European track. Now, this was interesting, the latest European. So it too, major hurricane, moving up the Bahamas, there we go, right over Nassau, and then right along the coastline, hinting at a hit right near Cape Canaveral, moving along the coastline. This is, I don't remember a track like this, moving parallel to the coastline, then moving right past Savannah, and then over toward and south of Charleston, moves on out. That would be a devastating situation for the southeast coastline. Now, I want you to take a look. Yeah, there wasn't a mistake there. The European does not link up with the trough that's moving through in that front, and means less rainfall for us, but then keeps Matthew down there, hooks it around, and says, oh, wait, second hit to Florida? Well, let's hope that does not pan out that way. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ensembles and show you that this is the one set of ensembles, some members off to the west. A lot still to keep in Matthew out to the sea. Let's take a look at the GEFS. Again, western tracks to Florida. Actually, some members here, do you see, do the loop-de-loop, just like the European. And it does take it farther out to sea than earlier runs. There's just one lone run that moves it up the coastline. And again, given what I'm seeing up to the north, I tend to believe that. And here's the Canadian, even farther offshore, less options to Florida. And then the European ensemble, there's a lot of looping going on, and the system staying far to the south. All right, so I've been talking about the weather with Matthew. Okay, how about the effects with us here in central Pennsylvania? I've been talking about a front that may link some moisture from it our way. Let's go ahead and show you here. This is the GFS, and you know, we have a high pressure system that's still over the area. On Friday, there are some indications that by the end of the day, now the GFS is slower, but there are models that move up some drizzle and a bit of rain to the south, from the south a little bit quicker. So we have to keep an eye on that. I do think there can be some rain for the Penn State homecoming game, unfortunately. And the front moves through Saturday night. And then really the link up of the heavy rain from Matthew, the moisture from Matthew in the front, doesn't get too strong. So it doesn't show a tremendous amount of rainfall here. but we can be damp later Friday on into early Sunday. Though, let me stress out, this is still really early, and a lot could change with the tropical system. But keep in mind, I can see how that European's right, that the connection doesn't get made, and it molds to the south. If it molds to the south, couple of things. We're not going to get as much rainfall here. The front just moves through. And then it's not going to get quite as cool behind the front, because the ridge is just going to pop up. My little zone of niceness I talk about all the time, that would be back over us, and we'll warm up next week. So I'll have another weather extra on Matthew for you again tomorrow.